Hello WCR. Today we have something a little special for you. We're doing a double audio commentary with Priest and myself, Lado. We're going to comment on 3 separate games. The first game is Priest against Cecil. The second game is me against Sonky. And then the last game is going to be a twos game that we'll do kind of impromptu as we're playing it. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, the first game that we're going to get queued up is the Cecil game. So I'm not sure how we're going to label it, but I'm sure we'll make it clear for you guys. It's going to be on Lost Temple. So let's try and get this game queued up at like a minute, and then we'll go from there.
So yeah, this game was actually played at July 26th, PNP LAN that I won. This is the lower bracket first round, I think. Cecil lost to a player called TV Face, another nightelf player, and this was the first game. When we were deciding the maps and stuff, it was pretty funny because he actually let me play on Lost Temple, and I didn't think he would do that, but because he hates Lost Temple. So I get the replay pause at the 1 minute mark, and we'll just let you know when we will unpause.
Okay, before we unpause, you can talk about the spawns immediately. You can see it's cross spawn, NE versus human. Now, in all honesty, against a good human player, you cannot win with nightelf when it's cross spawn if they play the game properly. So basically, you just
that's controversial. That's controversial.
No, it's not. So the reason being is after you have 2 expos up, you can basically do whatever you want with human. But that's a whole nother story. In this particular game, we're going to see kind of a unique strategy, and from the nightelf, and I'm going to comment on how I think he could have done it a little better, and why the way that he did it isn't exactly the best way. So anyway, do you have the audio queued up, Priest?
Yes, I do. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Alright, let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 102, 103, 104. Okay, so immediately the first thing that you should see is the fact that Cecil's going archers, okay? Now going archers isn't a bad thing, but anytime you're going archers on LT, you want to build your AOW down at the bottom so you can get that free level 2. There's absolutely no reason to build it on that hill there. There's no reason whatsoever to build the AOW on the hill. So what you should do is you should build the AOW on the bottom and then creep the mine. Now what you're going to see is he's going to build a second AOW a little later, and I'm sure you guys have seen this in replays before, but the way you play warden, the warden strat, is you build 2 AOWs like that and you use both AOWs to creep. But the thing is, he only uses one of his AOWs to creep, and that AOW that he just built just now is basically useless. It's really stupid. So, and I think that's one of the big pitfalls in his strat. Because what you do is, if you're going to do the strat the way that I would do it, is you would build the first AOW on the hill, and then you build the second AOW up by the shop, and you would creep the shop with your warden, and that would give you level 3, and then as soon as you get level 3, you go try and kill the Archmage. Not to mention you can expo while you're doing that. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on the first opening of the game. Now, another thing you'll see that, in my opinion, he's doing wrong is he's going to harass with a level 1 warden. He's not going to kill one thing with a level 1 warden. I'm not exactly sure what he expects to accomplish with a level 1 warden. I mean, maybe you'll kill like a peon or 2, but the thing is you'll lose all your mana and all your health in the process. So it's basically pointless. There's no reason to go harass with a level 1 warden. But anyway, if you see what Priest is doing, he's just doing the normal expo thing. But
yeah, and what you notice, as in when you're versing an out of play that goes warden, especially, even if you're versing Arc on this map, you want to put your Arcane Tower, you want to power build your Arcane Tower as quickly as you can. The faster you get the Arcane Tower up, he can't harass your peons like he's doing right now. As you see, before I build my Arcane Tower, I send them all into gold. It kind of makes him decide what peon he wants to attack, and it makes his warden go further into the gold mine, which I can put more damage on it. And also when my expo gets done, when I have my gold peasants full, they have gold in their hands. When the expo gets done, they return gold, and that's instant 40 gold. And he's going to get that peon kill, but I think I deny it. I'm not sure.
If you take a look, okay, so he goes 1 peon kill, and his warden is level 1 with 100 HP. At this point, at this time, you can get a level 3 warden in under 4 minutes if you do what I said. If you'll take a look at on the right side of the map, he's building that AOW there to help kill the farm. That's kind of stupid too. You want to build it further down so that you don't have to walk it as far. And then what you do is if someone builds a farm in your base like that, just build a shop right next to it. Or uproot the AOW if you have an AOW in your base and put the AOW down next to the farm. And what ends up happening is you need that shop in your base anyway, like in case they're doing a push or whatever. It's always good to have a shop in your base. And that shop will eventually over time kill that farm. So it serves two purposes. So if you take a look at that warden is still a piece of crap. And warden is basically useless until level 3, which is why in pro games you'll see that they do that double AOW creep with the warden to get it level 3 as fast as possible. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I do suggest, like, if you guys saw that how my farm up on this hill, usually now they put the expansion there. I was hoping that he would do that, but he didn't. He built an AOW instead just to creep it, which was a lot different for me because usually you see the first AOW that they have, they build it on the hill, on the bottom hill to the further expansion, just like Lado said. And since he didn't do that, I mean, like, you do necessarily want boots versus warden, but since he's now level 3 and like I noticed that he's not creeping his expansion right off the bat, I wasn't really forcing to get boots and dust. And another thing I noticed, just to stop his warden harassing, you always want to have a peon at one of the goblin laboratories. And I have one just on patrol on the bottom right goblin laboratory. You should do this for Orc too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that is actually a really good point, especially against archers. You definitely want to do that because a lot of times, at least what I do, if I see that the archmage doesn't have a dust, I abuse hide. I absolutely abuse hide. Oh, the AOW just took one of his creeps with mine. So if I see that they don't have dust, I'll abuse hide, and if you do have a peon at that shop, you can kill those archers, which is good.
Of course. So his expansion is obviously late, so this gives me the opportunity to come in and pick off these archers, maybe even kill the AOW, which I think I do. And he abuses hide right now, just like Lado was saying, because I'm assuming he looked at my hero, didn't see hide, but since I have that peon at my goblin laboratory, I use reveal, and he's forced to back up his archers. I get the AOW kill, and he pretty much can't expand right now. He has to have his warden back at his base and all of his archers at his expansion to expand, or he will lose it. But he is expanding on the top expansion, which is a good idea.
Yeah. Good idea. No, in all honesty, he doesn't need that AOW. He really doesn't. Whenever you're doing that creep with the warden, like you'll sometimes lose that second AOW while you're creeping, and it doesn't even matter. Like 160 gold is completely worth it to get a level 3 hero before he does. If you do that creep pattern that I told you, and you really can find this pretty much in any pro game. If you ever see a night elf go warden against human, you're going to see them power creep to level 3, and that's why. But you'll see they'll power creep level 3 and then they go kill the archmage, and it's basically a free kill. Now if you'll see, he's only level 2 against the level 3 and he almost gets the archmage there. If his warden was level 3, that archmage would be dead, or he obviously would be forced to TP much earlier, because 2 shadow strikes and he's dead basically.
Yeah, and let's start talking about the strat that I sort of intended to go out through this game. I've been doing this this strat a lot more versus nightelf lately. You pretty much go dual racks before you tech, or in the middle of your tech you want to power build your racks in your blacksmith, and you just go dual racks rifleman, and then you push with towers. And since I know that he's not going to have expansion at his natural right now, he might put one up in the future, but I know he doesn't have one right now because I was just there. I'm assuming that he either put up an expansion on bottom, which I have my militia on the hill at bottom right now, so I see he's not building one right there. So I'm just assuming that he's going to have one on top, so my militia is going to find it once it gets there at top.
And that is a very good assumption. Every night elf on LT is going to try and expo. They're going to try and double counter expo. At least that's what I do. If I see human expos, I get dryads and I get some map control, either with the warden or with dryads, and then you can double expo, pretty much no problem. And you'll see a lot of night elves, they'll do double racks hunts, and they do the exact same thing. They'll go double racks hunts, they'll go 40 to 50 foot of hunts, and then they'll double counter expo. And that 50 foot of hunts just basically gives you complete map control. You can creep the middle, you can basically control the game until he gets those rifles out. Now, another thing that he isn't doing very well is he's not scouting the human base, because what you want to look for is if he's building a sanctum, and obviously you want to look for if he's building that double rack. And you want to scout that